afternoon, it's Mrs. Achari from Mrs. Achari's Kindergarten Cabin. I'm super excited about today's lesson for science because I think it's going to give you some different options for writing activities. And also, we're going to get a chance to do some science along with all of the reading, writing, and math that we are working on. So today what I'm going to be teaching you is that you can choose any topic that you like and you can research it to learn more about it. And when I say research, that means you either read about it or you go on your computer and you search for information about it on your computer, or you ask people around you for information. So you can do that with any topic that you want to learn about. So we're going to focus on animals, and that is the reason why I asked you the question yesterday about what is your favorite animal or what animal would you like to learn more about, because I was hoping it would kind of give you a little bit of excitement about learning about an animal, and you could do some research on your own or with a friend or a parent or a brother or a sister or a grandma and a grandpa. So anyway, here we go. I, as you guys know, have always been intrigued with an animal called a sloth. I've always thought that they were very interesting animals, and so now I'm going to take the time to learn a little bit more about this animal, the sloth. So when I decided to learn more about the animal, I started thinking about what kind of things would I need to know? What would I want to know about this animal? So I made what is called a thinking map. This map helps me organize my thinking into different categories so I know what I want to learn, and then I can record the information that I do learn. So I came up with a couple of questions that would be helpful for you if you decide to choose an animal to research. And if you don't want to do this, you can just research the sloth with me every day. I'll be doing it so you can just learn more about the sloth as I'm learning about them too. So the first question that I want to know is, what do they eat? So I was just really interested. What does a sloth eat? I mean, what could it possibly eat? Does it eat meat? Does it eat plants? Does it eat both? And what I found out is that sloths eat leaves. They don't eat meat. They are called herbivores, so that means they only eat plants. And they like to eat leaves and like buds off of trees. So that's what I found out about what they eat. So they're kind of like a vegetarian, I guess you could call them. So then I wanted to know, where do they live? And what I found out from my research is that they live in rainforests in Central and South America. So they don't live near us, but they live in rainforests that have lots of trees and have like a really humid and wet environment. So, and the reason I was thinking about this, I was thinking, well, they probably really like to live in the rainforest because, number one, they like to eat leaves, and also because there's a lot of trees for them to swing from. So they live in the rainforest. And I wrote the word leaves and I wrote the word rainforest, and I drew a very detailed picture of what I found out. So then I found out, what do they look like? And I have seen a lot of pictures and I've watched some movies with sloths in them, but I wanted to get more specific about like what they really look like. So here's what I found out. I found out that they have a round head, and I found out that they have small ears, and I found out that they have shaggy fur, and I found out that they have 3 claws or toes, and then I also found out that they have long arms. And when I was reading all of that, it actually helped me draw the picture, because as I was doing it, I was reading, oh, it has a round head, so I drew the round head. And then something else that I read that describes their eyes is that they have sad eyes. And if you look at them, their eyes kind of droop down like this, and they do look sad, but I hope they're not sad. So that's what they look like. And then the other thing I wanted to do was find out what other interesting things do I want to know about sloths. I'm sure there's more than just the 3 things that we talked about. So I wanted to have an area for one interesting fact. And that was like one other thing that I thought was pretty cool to learn about the sloth. And what I found out was that, get this, you guys are going to be so surprised when I tell you this. You guys know when you're at the lake or at the beach and you are walking in the water and your feet touch the rocks on the bottom, and like there's this green slimy stuff on the bottom, and it's called algae. Sloths grow algae on their bodies. So it's like under their fur. So I drew a picture of the arm with like the green algae growing. And so because they have the algae on them, growing on them, other little creatures live on their body. So if you look at their body, if you were able to get a close-up look, you would see beetles and moths and worms living in their fur because they have algae growing and that's food for the little bugs. So they're kind of like a home to bugs. Pretty interesting, huh? So anyway, I thought that was a pretty interesting fact about sloths. So I want you to take a look at this graphic organizer or thinking map. You could draw something like this on your own. And if you have a little time and you want to research an animal that you want to learn about, you could do that and draw pictures to answer the questions and also tell an interesting fact. So that is one way that you can show your spelling or practice your spelling. You can practice your writing skills of drawing. So there's a lot of different areas that doing an activity like this will cover. And then not only that, but we're also learning about animals. We're learning about how they survive, the things they need to survive. We're learning about the environment they live in. What is their habitat? What do they need to have around them in order to even live? And we're learning about their characteristics, what they look like. So there's a lot of different things that we're learning by doing an activity like this. So I hope that you guys will all try to start researching an animal. And if you decide not to, just remember that I'll be doing videos about the sloth and all of the things that I've learned about them. And we'll be doing different activities with this science research project. So you can always just learn along with me about the sloth. So anyways, I hope you guys all have a great afternoon and I will see you tomorrow.